How do I manage my courses successfully while being a parent of 3 children? It's hard. I'll be honest with you. I would love to say it's perfect. Of course, you're going to balance it all, but it's going to be a little bit hard. Time management is going to be vital to your success. As David was talking about, meeting with learning strategies, talking about how to use your time, building a calendar, whether that's a paper calendar or a digital calendar, to be able to make sure every minute of your time is allocated for between your family responsibilities and your academic responsibilities. I think one of the things that's really important to be able to do is manage those gaps in time that you might have. So if your kids are in school or in childcare until, say, 6 o'clock at night when daycare is closed, and you happen to have a 2 or 3 hour gap on campus, don't pick them up right away, and that's okay. You are still a good parent if you don't pick them up right away. They are somewhere where they're having fun. Get your schoolwork done. Use that time as your time, and make sure that you're taking advantage of it. Schedule everything. Reach out early and reach out often. I'm going to echo a lot of what David said when it comes to balancing those multiple responsibilities. Centennial College actually has detailed policies and procedures on how to reach out when you are having issues with family responsibilities. So maybe your kid has a runny nose and yet again has to get sent home from school or daycare, as we have seen over and over and over again in the last few years. We know, but reach out early and reach out often. Ask for help. Let people know when the stress becomes too much. Build a community of like-minded people with you. You are not the only person who has family responsibilities on this campus. Whether it's children, whether it's elderly parents or grandparents that you're working to support, you are not the only one. Find that community and thrive within them. It takes a village, right? So make sure that you're finding your village, building that village and community to support yourself. Find parents with similar age children, have study/play dates. Take advantage of friends that are willing to babysit. There's lots of different ways to be able to manage that time, but reach out early and reach out often is my best advice. Before I move on to your next big question I want to share with you, I went back to school when my son was 6 years old. It's hard. But there was a time I used to spend my weekends, I'd bring him to the public library and I'd sit him down in the children's area and he'd read books and he'd play with toys and he'd play with the other children that were just happening to hang out there, and I'd read my textbook and I'd write my papers on my laptop. And there was one day I was putting him back in the car so we could drive back home, and he picked up my textbook and put it on his lap and he starts flipping through the pages, and at 6 he's just learning how to read, and he looks at me and he goes, "Mom, if I read 1 page per day, I think I can do it." And I looked at him like, "Me too, buddy, me too." And that moment really just sort of solidified for me that balance that we find in being a parent and being a student and having those responsibilities, and we work through it together. But my goodness, the feeling that you will feel when your children are in the audience, when you cross the convocation stage, will be spectacular. So reach out early, reach out often, plan your time, and know that you have support here as a student. All right, on to question number 2 on our theme of time management is, where should I spend my long breaks on campus? So it's pretty easy to sit and watch TikTok for 3 hours. Don't do that all the time. Sometimes your mental health needs that break if you have a gap in classes, but it is going to be in your best interest to make sure that you are scheduling those big breaks that you have to be able to be productive. Whether that is booking a group study room so you can work on a project, whether it is going to a computer lab to write a paper, or finding a time to just take some solitude, take a break and go, my mental health just needs 20 minutes to sit still and quiet, or maybe eat. We've got lots of great places on campus for you to be able to go and just be. I want to share a couple of my favorite secret spots. Don't tell the other people. We'll keep it our secret, okay? Nap pods. We literally have places on campus where you can just check out and have a nap. It's awesome. Located in the library, located in the B block walk just right behind the cafeteria. You can literally close yourself into a pod and have a 20-minute nap. It's amazing. The Fireside Gallery, which is located on the first floor of the library, beautiful space, comfortable chairs, highly underutilized by students. So whenever we don't have events going on in there, because it's a pretty space, so it gets used for events as well, comfortable chairs, lots of electrical outlets to plug into. It's a great space to sit and get some work done because it's pretty quiet. It also smells lovely. It's right beside a plant wall, so you've got lots of fresh oxygen flowing through the room every day. And second cup is right there, so it's a nice blend of fresh brewed coffee and plants. Perfect space for studying. And last but not least, on my secret area, and I know they're going to talk about it in a little bit, is the CCSAI building, which is right next door. Games rooms, an event hall, food, a computer lab. It's just a great place to come hang out and take a break. And so CCSAI is going to come up here, they're going to tell you all about their services, but it's a great place to come and hang out when you're on campus. So lots of ways to be able to take advantage of your gaps on campus when you've got them in your timetable. Make sure that you are scheduling yourselves accordingly and not getting lost with being unproductive. All right, so our third big question is, will it be hard for students to work and study at the same time? And offer up some tips. So, again, with our time management theme today, right? I think it's challenging sometimes to balance work and school, but it's good to be able to, well, it's important to realize that the privilege of not working doesn't happen for a lot of people, right? We have to work to be able to go to school, and it's just sort of why, that's what happens if we want to eat and pay rent and all of those things, that we need to have those jobs. But it's important to find balance. It's important to think about your why. Again, I'm just plagiarizing David's speech today. But think about your why. Why are you here at Centennial? Are you here at Centennial to work a part-time job at McDonald's? Or are you here at Centennial to get your credential to go out into the world and start your career? So we need to think about what that looks like and how that balance can happen. And it's challenging, it's very challenging. I would encourage everyone to look at on-campus employment opportunities. Lots of great ways to be able to work on campus. That means you don't have to travel to get to work. Your job is here in the building when you might have a 3-hour gap in your schedule. So it works pretty well, right? So you can come to work for a few hours and we work around your timetables. What I would caution students to look out for, so my big tip for you, is when work starts to impact school. Am I missing classes to go to job? Am I not getting my homework done? Am I not handing in assignments because I'm working too much? Am I too tired because I'm working midnights but have 8 a.m. classes? That's a challenge, right? So I would encourage you and empower you to set boundaries with your employer when you're working. This is my school timetable. This is when I am not available to work. And hold strong to it. That's an important skill, that self-advocacy piece, to be able to say, my school is important, I need to be here, this is the time I can dedicate to you, and make that clear distinction. Sometimes it's tricky, sometimes it's hard, but I want to empower you to do that, to let you know that you have that voice to be able to use. If you get stuck and you want advice, go talk to career services. They can help and they can provide those coaching conversations to be able to help with navigating employment and education and how you balance the two as well. So, on to my last question. I will admit this wasn't actually on your list of questions, but the locker people asked me to tell you, so I'm going to pretend it's a question. When can I start using my locker? So anybody rented a locker for fall already? A few of you, excellent. Don't put your lock on today. Over the weekend, anyone who's got a lock on the locker, we're going to assume it belongs to people from summer who forgot to come take their lock, and we're going to cut them off. We don't want you to lose your new lock, so please wait until the first day of school to be able to put your new lock on your locker, just so we don't end up cutting your lock off accidentally. All right, so again, I've talked a lot. So now I want to move on and introduce you to yet another wonderful, important person that I think you need to meet. Oh, slowly running.